It was a story often told in Vienna by candlelight, not merely of armies and cannons, but of a city that learned how thin the line could be between ceremony and ruin. In the summer of 1683, the Ottoman host approached with disciplined certainty, their standards bright against the horizon. In the city, however, certainty had become a luxury. Bakers, priests, merchants, and soldiers all moved through the same narrowing streets, each pretending, for the sake of the others, that the walls would hold. Among them was Jakob, a young apprentice baker with flour in his hair and fear in his chest. Jakob spent his days carrying loaves to the crowded defenses and his nights listening to the low thunder of siege guns. He was not brave in the grand manner, but curious, stubborn, and observant. He noticed which stones had been chipped by cannon fire and which faces had gone strangely calm. He became acquainted with Captain Adler, an old wall commander who thought in measurements and angles, and with Mira, a messenger from the outlying hills, whose fierce wit masked a deep exhaustion. They argued, planned, and waited, while cracks widened in the masonry and rumors widened in the streets. Outside the city, the Ottoman camp was a world of order, labor, and expectation. Janissaries drilled in silence. Engineers placed earthworks with patient skill. A young Sipahi officer named Selim watched the siege unfold with growing unease. He had been told that Vienna would fall like a ripe fruit, yet the defenders did not behave like men already defeated. They repaired breaches under fire, shared their last grain, and answered fear with dulled but unbroken resolve. Selim began to suspect that conquest might be simpler than occupation. Weeks passed. Hunger became a companion, then a master. Jakob saw children sleep beside packages of flour that no longer existed. Captain Adler concealed the worst of his fears behind strict commands. Mira returned from a night sortie with news both hopeful and terrible. Allied forces were gathering, but time was nearly gone. The city, like a held breath, waited for a final decision without making sound. Then came the dawn of battle.
Charge!
From the heights
Forward!
beyond Vienna, relief armies charged down upon the Ottoman lines. The ground shook with cavalry, smoke, and shouted orders.
We have to reach
Inside
the
the
gate.
walls, the
Keep
defenders
moving.
poured out in desperate support, and Jacob,
Don't
carried
let
by a
them
tide
break
of
the
necessity
formation.
he had never chosen, found himself running not away from war, but into it. Selim saw the unexpected attack break the rhythm of victory. Orders arrived too late, then not at all. The siege lines turned to confusion, and confidence collapsed faster than walls under cannon. He fought because habit required it, because honor required it, and because retreat, once begun, seemed to swallow even courage. By evening, the great assault had failed. The Ottoman army withdrew, leaving behind broken engines, abandoned tents, and the silence of exhaustion. In Vienna, no one celebrated at once. They simply leaned against one another, alive, astonished, and unable to trust the fact of survival. Later, Jacob stood beside Captain Adler on the battered rampart and looked across the emptied fields. Adler said that empires, like cities, were measured not only by what they could take, but by what they could endure. Jakob did not fully understand the words then, yet he would remember them all his life, along with the knowledge that beneath every battle lay the fragile human wish to wake the next morning in the same world.